Hey Hofstra fans, welcome to the WB Mason Coaches Report right here on GoHofstra.com. My name is Kevin Dexter, joined alongside, as always, by the head coach of the Hofstra Pride women's basketball team, Krista Kilburn-Steveskey. Coach, how are we doing this morning?
I'm doing well.
Well, this past week for your team, a tough week in the beginning after a loss to VCU, but you had a nice bounce back win over George Mason. Give us your overall thoughts on what you thought of the past week.
Yeah, it's a tell of a week of different events. I mean, because we played very well. We got back to Hofstra basketball on Sunday, and it was a good feeling. I think when Caitlin Loper got back into the lineup and back into to practice, it was just a little bit of a cloud that was lifted a bit, and it was just kind of brought our spirits up a lot. But it certainly was nice to get back to what we do.
And looking at the game against VCU, you were right in the game for much of it. Then a stretch in the second half where VCU went on a little bit of a run and pulled away. Was there anything that changed towards the second half of that game?
No, it was interesting. We weren't shooting the ball very very well. We've been down that road before, and it was just a little bit of a breaking point. It was really like a 2-minute span. The team actually bit the bullet and watched the 9-minute spread the next day and saw how that they were just so in the game, and it's like right there for you to grab. And we just had to play better, and I think a lot of the captains got together and said, look, we need to play defense, we need to play better, and they really took it upon themselves to turn that page for Sunday, and I was very proud of that.
Of course, the VCU game was your second straight loss, and you never want to lose any games, of course, but do you think that losing at this point of the season, is that something that, as it did on Sunday, may catapult you to become better here down the stretch?
Yeah, you hear a lot of things that are going on right now out there, and it's like being hot at the right time, and you can't explain if you could understand what was going to happen at ODU the week before. You would try to avoid it, and you have a good pulse of your team, and I think we underestimated the Monarchs. It was kind of the same scenario. It was very oddly the same scenario where we had an injury and Caitlin wasn't out again, and we had survived that bullet the first time, and it pushed people to be playing more minutes than might not have played. But you only get away with that. So many times you need everybody. That's the reason why we need everybody on this team, and it just really goes to show. Marie ended up busting her head in the ODU game. Had some things going on with her head. We were even concerned about her for VCU as well as again for Mason. So it was a little bit of adversity that every team faces. So and I just think it would just, like I said, collectively the captains took it upon themselves to say we got to play better, and we need to it's about being hot at the right time, and I think that's something that we're just focusing on.
Well, you mentioned getting Caitlin Loper back into the lineup for George Mason. On the stat sheet, didn't put up big numbers, but just having her out on the floor, how much difference does that make to your offense?
Completely. I mean, ask Shantae Evans that question. She'd be the first to answer that with a big smile, because it opens up the inside game for our post. People aren't allowed to collapse as much. Obviously she shoots the ball very well, and and I knew it's been 4 games she's missed, over a short period of time when you really look at it on the schedule, and it can catch up with you a little bit. So I think she wasn't allowed to do conditioning or anything. So I think the 24 minutes in the Mason game really helped her kind of get back on track, and and then obviously Nicole Perso, Shantae Evans, and then Candace Blockio, they all played very well. Candace Bond, everyone did. Androna Thomas locked down Talia Moten like crazy. It was a big step for a freshman to come in and have that kind of responsibility. So, everybody gave time on the floor. Devin Green gave us even really good minutes in the VCU game. We just didn't pull out that victory. So, it's a testament of what a season can entail. And like I said, if we saw things coming and we knew exactly how to head things completely off, and when things are going well, when you have good chemistry, when you have a good team group, you have kids that are generally always working pretty hard for you. It's the mental part of that game, and keeping that part together and keeping people very crisp. And we try a lot of new things, and it's just kind of what we all suffer through during the season. So we're ready though. We're ready.
Well, you mentioned Candace Blockio before. First 2 points of the game, didn't waste any time.
Yeah.
Her 999th, 1,000th career point. We know how close you've become with Candace, of course, during her 5 years here. How special was the?
It was awesome. Actually, the first play of the game was a play for Candace. That was something that we had put in. Just out of our offense. Every play the ball's in her hands, but this was actually a call for her to score. I had not mentioned anything to her, just knowing her personality, she doesn't want to know. But I was aware through Michael Gibson. He had told me, and then of course, during the course of the season, you're just moving forward. You let that for Stephen Corchall and everybody else to tell you what's going on out there when it comes to their field. So, but Candace knew she was proud, and it's been fun. She's such. It's nice to see the accolades coming to her now for a kid that always works hard and it gives you everything, has been the leader of this team. Then to be able to have something shine right back on her, it's a nice thing, because it's well deserved.
Well, after the Mason game, of course, how much confidence do you think that it gave the team, of course, coming off those 2 losses? Just going into a game as important as Thursday is against Delaware, as I mentioned in a second, to have a big win on a game that everybody, as you said before, played well.
Yeah, I mean, they did it. We shot the ball better, but we defended much better, and we just came out and then just kept putting the heat on them. And I think it helped them, again, to see some of the things that cause adversity, and then just to be able to just have mentally be prepared for this game and be able to handle whatever happens to us. Because, I mean, we've had tough times at Mason. It's an interesting gym to shoot in. The depth perception of the gym is interesting. We have not in the past shot well there, and we shoot 48% there. It's a lot about confidence right now. And I think they saw what was they were holding themselves back for whatever, like you said, for whatever reason, and you just don't know about that part of the game. And so I think that that we watched some of the old films and some things again of how well we played, getting back to having, obviously fun on the court, but it's a combination. You have fun when you're winning, but you have fun when you're playing well. And you're doing things to, that we know that it's Hofstra basketball. So I think that gave them a new birth here for sure at a right time.
Well, coming up tomorrow is a game against number 9, number 10 in 2 different polls. The Delaware Fighting Blue Hens, top of the conference. We know this is one of the games that's been circled on the calendar for the entire season. So now that it's finally here, is it kind of changed at all? What's the approach been like these last couple of days?
Yesterday was a good day. It was a lot, about what our game plan is going to be. So very different from even a week prior to that. It was really more about focusing on our strategy, and had a lot of good situational things yesterday. But just really more about that. And I mean, everyone's ready. Everyone's really in tune. Everyone knows that we can win this game. It's not something that is a pie in the sky dream. But we have to do it. We have to do it when we get challenged. When Del Don tries to go on a run, and whether it's for 2 halves put together, and I think Shantae, she's taken the lead on this game again. And when she had to watch clips of some of the times where she did a good job at times guarding Del Don, but when she got the ball, and I think that Tay saw some things that she needs to improve on, defensively, and Candace Bond as well. So it was good for them to kind of take the ropes with that, take the lead, and go, hey, we can be better here. We can be better here. We're not asking for some kind of miracle. We don't have to call in reinforcements, to beat this team on Thursday. We have the tools to beat them, and it's whether or not we use them. So I think that's going to be the onus is going to be on them with that, and we're ready.
And of course, down at Delaware, played very well outside of that 14-0 run that kind of let Delaware pull away.
Yeah. How
much are you looking back at that game 1, and then also the fact that it's here at home at the Max Sports Complex? Do you think that's going to be a big emotional boost for this team to play at home?
Exactly. There was a lot of things in that run. I probably can give you every play-by-play. But even before that run happened, though, the 8 points that were scored at the start of the second half, and we did it at VCU as well. And it's certainly not direct complacency, but it's just a little bit of that edge of getting that motor to start and then start that second half. And that's, as a coach, that's something that can be rectified, can be fixed. And so that 2 minute, 3 minute there, and Del Don scored. I mean, they went at Courtney Hurt in the start of the second half. They went at Andre Barber in the start of the second half, and obviously Del Don goes in the start of the second half. So, putting together 2 big halves is important. And so, we're ready. I think, like I said, this week has been a good build, and today's a big day on the floor. As we kind of sharpen up things for Thursday.
Of course, we've talked about before the first game and before here things that you can do to stop players like Elena Del Don and the rest of Delaware. But what is it about your team here that you think is going to be able to put some things together to come away with a win tomorrow?
I mean, it can't. It's like it did, in other games too. But I mean, this is a different type of player. She played one of her best games in her career against us in the last game, and then that's what great players do. I mean, whatever everybody wants to say, she's one of the best players, if not the best player in the nation. You have the best player in the nation on your team, that's taking the majority of the shots. That's, people are coming along like Lauren Carr and things like that. But at the end of the day, the ball's on her shoulders. So, it has to be a collective group of people to try to help us, to contain her. Because stopping her, like I even said before, is really not the right game plan. You need to turn around and do things that you really think in a short amount of time can make a difference in the game, and we got a few of those things up our sleeve, and and this is going to be fun, going out there and on our floor, knowing that we can win this game, and taking care of business. It'll certainly wipe the slate clean of a little bit of step backs here where we've fallen off a little bit in a couple games, and it's certainly a great way to get back on track as we're heading into the last month.
You also have Towson coming to the MAC
Yeah.
on Sunday, a
Yeah.
team that was picked towards the bottom of the conference, but they've been pretty surprising. They've been consistently towards the middle part of the conference, so you don't want to
Yeah.
look too far ahead to Towson
No.
and Delaware coming up on Thursday, but what are you expecting in that game as well?
No, I mean, every game is a must-win game, as we've said before. Even after the ODU, I said to the team, I was like, we still have VCU, we still have Mason on our schedule. Boom, we still have Delaware. We know where we've got to finish in this home stretch. So we do take one game at a time, but we understand we can't sleep on anyone, and we've gotten nipped in our own home on our home court twice this year, which it's been a bitter pill, and I think that's been a motivating factor for us. It's a bitter pill to lose two games at home when you have a memorable season like we're putting together right now. So we don't take anything lightly. We do not take anything lightly, and we're just ready for this challenge. We like everybody not on the outside, being non-believers. So I think that we're very motivated when we're on this side. This team is very motivated when they're the underdog. Mm-hmm. So you're going to see a great game tomorrow night.
Well, there are some giveaways coming up for these two home games this week that are certainly going to be enticing the fans to come.
Right.
Of course, the Think Pink games that you guys do every year coming up this week. Just tell us, the fans and us, a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, tomorrow is set up with the RA night, so the RAs are able to have the RA that brings the most students from their dorm. Obviously wins. I think a dinner provided by them, and then they also we're giving away 2 iPad touches at that game, and then so it's a big festival, and we will be wearing our pink uniforms tomorrow, and then as well as Sunday. Sunday's been the big build for the Girl Scout Day, for the Play for K Day, and that's the significance for us with pink. This year it brings on a lot of meanings. It always stirs back up my college time, but then there's just all of us have been touched, and we're dealing with something in our own program that is close to someone who's been dealing with it, so anyway, it's just very, very important for us.
Wow. Well, Coach, also with the 2 games coming up, as I mentioned before, Delaware and Towson, what is going to be the biggest key to come away with a victory?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. We had a little bit of a very important hot off the ticket. We have been waiting for the crush for Cancer for Claire to pass, because that's why I've kind of been stumbling here a little bit. It was an NCAA waiver that we had to approve, and it's just a great thing. So now I can actually say it and unleash here a little bit. So tomorrow's game is huge. Because Claire Drost is a personal friend of Nicole Capurso, and also Mike Gibson, who was a manager at BC at the time when she played. And Nicole is driving this team, and she has told this team, we're wearing pink, and that means you get to fight for everything that you got, because there are people that are actually fighting real battles that really matter. So Claire Drost is actually going to be at our game. And it's just, I can't even tell you, just how important this game is for this young lady who is, again, played at BC, had a remarkable career there as a local Rockaway, played at Christ King with Bob Mackey and Jill Cook, and it's just a very emotional time, and Nicole's been dealing with this for, obviously she's known Claire since she was very young, so we're very, very just glad to be able to do something, to have a small part in anything, and to be able to help her cause, because she's fighting her biggest fight that she's ever had, and it really brings it home to people that have full scholarships at a university that are getting things paid for them right and left. Do you really value what you're doing? And I think Nicole Capurso has been one to bring that home real close to us. So very, very proud about that. So it's a significant meaning of that, and then obviously Katie Howe. I heard her voice in the Oklahoma UConn game, in the commercials, and every time I hear it, I turn around, and it's hard to believe that she's really gone. When you see her on TV, she was larger than life, and you just don't believe it, and it's such a horrific disease. It affects everyone. We all know someone. We all know, whether it's a direct relative or a very close personal friend. Everybody knows someone that has been hit by this disease, and for us to be able to support it and to really understand, we have on our website in the Play for K, I think we're close to $2,500 that we have raised as a team, and then obviously we're doing something on Sunday that's going to raise several $1,000s too, and a small part. You hear some big numbers, or some big universities raising $215,000 for the Cancer Institute. So any part helps though, and we're certainly trying to do our part here at Hofstra University. So thank you for this window, thank you for this time, and I'm very happy this was just happening right now as we speak.
Glad we got that hot off.
Yeah, because you've just been holding back because you weren't allowed to say anything about it, and so awesome. awesome. If there's anything we can do to help this young lady, you guys come out and support. And just really excited about Thursday and how it carries on even more meaning.
Well, back to what I was asking before we got that news hot off the presses.
Yeah,
Coach,
great.
back to the games, of course,
Yeah.
Thursday and Sunday. Need 2 big victories here, as you mentioned. Every game is a must-win from here on out. So,
Yeah.
what is your team going to have to execute here, especially against Delaware, but also on Towson on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, the basic things we talk about when we're talking about rebounding, defending, but I mean, it's just more collectively. It's yes, it is defending, getting the stops that we need, surviving those runs, and then collectively trying to contain Del Don. They rebound well. When you get her to shoot a 4 shots, somebody is getting that rebound.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't talk about the significance of that, not losing someone in transition. So the defensive part of this is huge. So that is that's just what we have to do. We need, and then in turn, when things get affected by something, how we respond to it. I mean, that little stretch. Like I said, I talked about the start of the second half, but then that stretch of, like from the 11-minute mark down to the 8-minute mark, we made very bad decisions offensively, did not get back and find transition, and then had just a medley of calls that were going against us. So it was like 3 major crushes in a row. So we've got to understand that. I think the kids are getting smarter and smarter. And I always talked about that second half of Drexel to me as an answer about this. I was like, you guys did this because you made better decisions when the ball was in your hands. So, a lot of the onus that part is on them. And they know what the game plan is, and so now it's going to be fun to put these 2 games together, one at a time here. So it's important.
All right, 2 games here at home at the Max Sports Complex this week for Coach Steveskey and the Hofstra women's basketball team. Thursday at 7 o'clock against Delaware. Sunday at 2 o'clock against Towson. Coach, thanks so much for the time.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck this
Appreciate
week. And make sure you come out to the MAC. And thank you for tuning in to the WB Mason Coaches Report right here on GoHofstra.com.
Go Pride.